They didn't think you would walk away in silence. They thought they had more time. Now, every second without you is like a knife twisting deeper into their chest. They stare at their phone, waiting for your name to light up the screen. But it never does. And with every passing hour, the weight of what they did becomes heavier. They tried to bury the truth under smiles and distractions. But guilt has a strange way of rising when the world goes quiet. And in the silence of night, they cry for what they destroyed. Their hands shake when they scroll through old pictures of you. The laughter, the glances, the love, they ruined it. And the mirror now reflects someone they can barely recognize. Type Amen to get blessing 333. You once looked at them like they were your entire world. And they took it for granted. That image haunts them more than any memory could. They wear guilt like a second skin now. No one knows how much they suffer behind the mask they show others. But deep inside, a storm of regret never stops. They pray to be able to rewind time. Just one moment to take back the lie, the betrayal, the silence. But time is merciless to those who learn too late. They didn't mean to lose you. They just didn't fight hard enough to keep you. And now the silence between you is louder than any scream they could imagine. Type Amen to get blessing 444. They remember your voice the most. The softness in it when you trusted them. And now it echoes in their head like a memory that won't leave. They whisper apologies into the dark. Words they never had the courage to say to your face. Words soaked in tears they never let anyone else see. They smile for the world and cry in private. No one knows how much they wish they could reach you. But their shame holds them hostage. They thought they would be fine without you. But the reality is they've become a ghost inside their own life. The joy they once knew died the day you left. Type Amen to get blessing 555. They don't sleep through the night anymore. Every time they close their eyes, they see you. The love you gave, the pain they caused, the goodbye you didn't deserve. They keep asking themselves why they did what they did. But the answers are always empty. Nothing justifies how they treated you. They wanted freedom. But what they found was a cage built from their own decisions. And now they scream inside it, hoping for release. They told themselves they would move on. But every person after you just reminded them of what they lost. And nothing has come close to your warmth. Type Amen to get blessing 818. They watch your stories from a distance. They wonder if you're truly happy. And it burns them knowing they're no longer a part of your world. Every song reminds them of you. Every street corner holds your laughter. Every place they visit seems to whisper your name. They talk about you in past tense, but you're still alive in every breath they take. The past is not past for them. It is a prison they can't escape. They broke you without realizing it. And now they are the broken one. But this time, no one is coming to save them. Type Amen to get blessing 646. They wear your favorite sweater sometimes. Not because they miss you, because it's the only thing that makes them feel close to something real. They've erased all the photos except one. The one where you're looking at them like they matter. Because even now, that light comforts them. They can't bring themselves to delete your messages. They read them over and over, trying to feel again. But they know those words will never be written again. The guilt eats them alive. Not in one moment, but in millions of little pieces. Every missed chance. Every cruel word. Every silence when they should have spoken. Type Amen to get blessing 121. They never said sorry the way they should have. They didn't fall to their knees, didn't cry in front of you, didn't beg. But in the silence of their nights, they do all three. They would give anything to go back to that one moment where everything shifted. To hold you tighter. To choose you, not their pride. They lost something that can't be replaced. You weren't just love. You were peace, you were home, you were everything. They hurt the one who would have stayed through every storm. And now they stand alone in a hurricane of their own making. Type Amen to get blessing 787. They hear your name and freeze. Their heart doesn't beat the same anymore. Because your name is a wound that never healed. They walk through life in shadows. Pretending they're whole. But they're nothing without the light you gave them. They dream about the apology they never gave. They imagine the way your eyes would look if they finally said the truth. But it's only ever in dreams. They carry your pain like it's their punishment. Every tear you cried has become part of their guilt. And nothing they do feels like redemption. Type Amen to get blessing 999. They see your face in strangers. They swear they hear your laugh in crowds. But when they turn around, it's always emptiness. They wonder if you think about them. If you miss them the way they miss you. But they don't deserve to ask. They could be surrounded by people and still feel alone. Because no one fills the space you once did. And that space grows larger every day. They can't move forward. Every step away from you feels like betrayal all over again. They are stuck in the past they created and can't destroy. Type Amen to get blessing 144. They try to live. But they're not really living. They're just existing in a world where your love no longer shines. They are haunted by the final look you gave. That silence you left behind spoke more than any goodbye could. They know now you were never the problem. You were the gift they couldn't handle. And now the punishment is living without you. They see couples and wonder what could have been. What you would have looked like on your wedding day. What your kids would have sounded like calling their name. Type Amen to get blessing 111. They are trapped in their own regrets. A never-ending loop of sorrow and realization. One they cannot escape. They thought they could find better. But the truth is, they already had the best. And they destroyed it. They envy those who still have your smile. Your warmth. Your presence. Because they had it and let it slip through their hands. They can't even look at themselves the same way. Because every reflection is a reminder of the person who failed you. Type Amen to get blessing 202. They hide their tears in the shower. In their pillow. In long drives that go nowhere. Hoping to cry out the ghost of you. They remember the day you stopped trying. The day your eyes stopped begging. The day you chose peace over pain. They didn't just lose a lover. They lost their best friend. And no one has come close to understanding them like you did. They whisper, "I'm sorry," to the sky, not knowing if you'll ever hear it. But they say it anyway, because it's all they have left. Type Amen to get blessing 525. They ruined something holy. Something rare. Something real. And that truth will follow them for the rest of their life. They now know silence is the loudest kind of pain. Yours was a quiet goodbye, but its echo still shakes their soul. They will carry this guilt forever. Not because they want to, but because it is the price of losing a heart like yours. They didn't just hurt you. They broke a part of themselves too. But unlike you, they don't know how to heal. Type Amen to get blessing 717. They replay your last words 100 times a day, wondering if you ever truly hated them. Or just finally loved yourself enough to walk away. They crave your forgiveness. Not for peace, but for a moment of warmth in the cold world they now live in. They wake up hoping it was a dream. But reality hits like thunder. And you are gone. This is what heartbreak looks like from the side of guilt. This is what a person looks like when they realize they were the villain in your story. Type Amen to get blessing 373. They want to fix what they broke. But some things can't be fixed. And that is the bitterest truth of all. You were the calm. You were the soul they prayed for. And they destroyed it with their own hands. And now, in the silence of their room, they cry. They cry because they know the one person who could have forgiven them has already moved on. You were not the mistake. You were the lesson. And they will carry that lesson in their chest forever. Type Amen to get blessing 606. They try to laugh with others, but it never reaches their heart. Every joy they force feels empty because it isn't shared with you. You were their heartbeat, and now their life feels like it's missing a rhythm. They visit the old places where you used to go together. And though the world still spins, for them, time froze the moment you stopped calling. The coffee doesn't taste the same, the wind doesn't feel as warm, and the stars no longer shine the same way. They tell others they're fine. But they're lying with every word. The truth is, they're shattered inside, hiding the sharp pieces so no one gets hurt by what they've become. They scroll through your profile, afraid to like or comment. Just watching. Just hurting. Wishing you could look through the screen and feel the regret dripping from every corner of their soul. Type Amen to get blessing 1010. They've written messages to you they'll never send. Whole pages filled with apologies, confessions, and prayers. But every time they almost hit send, fear swallows them whole. They want to say they've changed. But deep down, they know change should have come when it mattered, when you were still holding on. Now, it feels too late. They miss your laughter. Your honesty. The way you made life feel lighter. And they know that no one else will ever love them the way you did. They thought silence was strength. That walking away without answers made them powerful. But now they realize silence is cowardice dressed in pride. Type Amen to get blessing 313. They hear your name and flinch. Not because it hurts to hear, but because it reminds them of the pain they caused someone who loved them unconditionally. They've become quiet in rooms they used to light up. They've become distant in conversations they used to enjoy. Because without you, even their own voice feels unfamiliar. They spend their nights talking to the ceiling, hoping the universe sends their sorrow to you in dreams. Hoping maybe, just maybe, you'll feel how sorry they are. They look for you in the eyes of strangers. Hoping for a spark, a trace, a flicker. But no one carries the same light you had in your soul. Type Amen to get blessing 999. They gave up on happiness the day you gave up on them. Not because you were wrong, but because they know they pushed you to that edge. And now they sit on the edge of despair every single day. They wonder if you ever cry for them too. But they know they don't deserve your tears anymore. The ones you shed were already too many, too deep. They tried to fill the hole you left with other people. But all they found were echoes of your voice, your laugh, your goodbye. They remember the way your fingers fit between theirs. The way your smile made their heart settle. They remember everything. And that's the worst part, they can't forget. Type Amen to get blessing 828. They've begged the universe to give them a sign that you're okay. Not because they want to come back, but because they want to know their mistakes didn't destroy you. They replay the moment you stopped looking at them with love. That shift in your eyes, that stillness in your voice. That was the moment they lost you forever. They know now that hurting someone who truly loved you is a wound you carry for life. And every day, that wound opens wider, bleeding guilt and sorrow. They hold your last gift in their hands sometimes. Just to feel like they're touching a piece of your love again. But no gift can replace what they lost. Type Amen to get blessing 1111. They wonder if you're healing. If you're smiling with someone new. And that thought both comforts and destroys them. They would take all the pain if it meant you'd never have to cry again. But life doesn't work that way. Now they must live knowing they were the reason behind your tears. They see your face in dreams. Sometimes, you smile. Sometimes, you walk away. But every dream ends with them waking up, alone and aching. They were afraid of commitment, of honesty, of vulnerability. But now they're afraid of silence, of loss, of regret. The price of their fear was losing you. Type Amen to get blessing 909. They stare at the door sometimes, hoping you'll walk through it. Even though they know you won't. Still, their heart waits like a loyal pet at the window. They lied when they said they didn't care. That was their pride speaking. The truth is, they never stopped caring, not even for a second. They were selfish. And now they know it. And the worst part? They hurt the one person who would have sacrificed everything for them. They sit in their car and scream. Not because they're angry, but because the silence feels like it's crushing their lungs. That's what a broken heart sounds like from the outside. Type Amen to get blessing 141. They read your name in places it doesn't belong. In books. In signs. In lyrics. As if the universe is reminding them of what they let go. They no longer fear being alone. They fear being forgotten by you. That you'll find peace so complete, it erases their memory entirely. They regret not answering your last message faster. Not calling back when they had the chance. Regret stacks on top of regret, suffocating them in layers. They hope you never feel the pain they feel now. Because even though they hurt you, they would never wish this torment on anyone, especially you. Type Amen to get blessing 212. They sit with your voice notes sometimes, listening to how you used to laugh. Every note sounds like a farewell now. And it hurts. They are not who they used to be. Because loving you changed them. And losing you shattered them. They try to explain it to friends, but no one really gets it. No one knows what it feels like to lose someone like you and still breathe. You were their mirror, and now they don't recognize themselves anymore. Their reflection is just a stranger with tear-soaked eyes. Type Amen to get blessing 373. They don't know if they'll ever love again. Not because they can't, but because their heart is still with you. Locked away in the past. They remember the little things. The way you used to tuck your hair behind your ear. The way you whispered goodnight. The way you looked at them like they mattered. They forgot what peace felt like. Because the only peace they had was in your presence. And they traded it for chaos. They would write your name in the sky if it meant you'd know they still care. But even 1,000 stars couldn't carry the weight of their remorse. Type Amen to get blessing 474. They whisper your name when they're drunk. When they're sober. When they're scared. Your name has become a prayer and a curse. They hope, one day, you'll find someone who treats you better. Someone who cherishes every piece of your soul. Someone who sees your worth from the start. But that thought also kills them. Because that someone will live the life they threw away. That someone will stand where they should have stood. And in the quiet corners of their world, they will forever cry for you. Not loudly. Not with noise. But in silence. The same silence they left you in. Type Amen to get blessing 313. And this, dear one, is what guilt truly looks like. It is not always loud. It does not always come with apologies. Sometimes, it just sits in the corner, crying in silence. They are not okay. They haven't been okay since the day they broke your heart. And now, the only thing louder than their regret, is your absence. Type Amen to get blessing 1444. They don't talk about you anymore, not because they've forgotten, but because your name stings too much. Just the thought of you sends their heart into a spiral they can't control. So, they bury you deep where no one can see, but where you never stop screaming. Every celebration feels hollow now. Birthdays, holidays, successes, they all mean less without your smile. They pretend to be happy, but inside, they ache for what used to be. They regret every second they didn't make you feel special. They realize now how simple your needs were, just honesty, consistency, and love. And they failed you on all three. They never believed they could lose someone like you. But losing you didn't just shake their world, it dismantled the very foundation of who they thought they were. Type Amen to get blessing 747. They remember your eyes, the way they sparkled when you were excited, the way they dimmed when they let you down. That change in your gaze plays like a loop in their head every day. You weren't asking for the world. You were asking to be chosen. And they made you feel like a burden when all you wanted was love. They revisit old conversations, searching for the exact moment everything changed. But there's no single message, no single line. Just slow neglect that turned into heartbreak. They would undo it all if they could. Every late reply. Every broken promise. Every time they made you feel small when you were giving them your all. Type Amen to get blessing 929. They hear your name in songs they used to hate but now play on repeat. They hold on to anything that reminds them of you, even pain, because it's all they have left. They bought you gifts, but what you wanted was time. They gave you words, but what you needed was action. And now they understand how much they misunderstood your love. They wish they had paid more attention to your silence. To the way you stopped fighting. Because that silence was the final scream, and they missed it. They scroll through your pictures now, not with joy, but with torment. Because every image is a reminder of what they lost, not what they had. Type Amen to get blessing 575. They never expected you to walk away. They thought you'd always stay, no matter how much it hurt. But you surprised them, and now they're the one hurting in silence. They wonder if you found peace. If you're smiling again. They want that for you, even if it kills them inside. They know you loved them more than they deserved. And that kind of love doesn't come twice. That truth is now the sharpest blade in their chest. They laugh when people say, "You'll be okay." Because being okay left the day you did, and they haven't seen it since. Type Amen to get blessing 383. They know what it's like now, to cry and not be able to stop. To wish the clock would turn back, even just for a moment. To beg the universe for one more chance. They didn't realize how rare your loyalty was until they looked for it in others. And found only games. Only temporary hands. Only borrowed affection. They've grown quiet. Not peaceful. There's a difference. Quiet is what happens when pain becomes too familiar to scream about. They speak less, think more. But every thought leads back to you. To what was. To what could have been. Type Amen to get blessing 155. They never believed regret could feel physical. But it does. It sits on their chest, wraps around their throat, and makes it hard to breathe. They once thought they didn't need anyone. Now they understand they needed you. And only you. But they learned too late. You were their lesson in love. In pain. In everything. And now you. They wear your absence like a scar. Visible only to those who look close enough. But it's always there, etched deep into their soul. They remember the way you used to wait for them, even when they were late. You waited, with love, with hope. Now they wait for a chance that's never coming. They see their reflection sometimes and don't recognize who they've become. Because the person who had you was better. And they lost that version of themselves too. They keep trying to convince themselves to move on. But every attempt feels like betrayal, because their heart is still yours, even if you're gone. Type Amen to get blessing 262. They have stopped telling others they're fine. Because pretending takes more strength than they have left. And the truth is, they're exhausted from grieving a love they destroyed. They used to be the one who made you laugh. Now they're the reason for your tears. That shift is unbearable. Your love was their safe place. And they bulldozed it without thinking. Now they're lost in a world that feels cold, unfamiliar, and unforgiving. They hope, maybe in another lifetime, you'll cross paths again. Not for a second chance, but to say the goodbye they never properly gave. Type Amen to get blessing 111. They know now that love is not just words, it's action, presence, respect. And they failed you in all three. Now they fail themselves by remembering it every day. They gave their energy to people who never mattered. And left you, someone who would have given them the world, waiting, doubting, hurting. They think about your birthday every year. But they never reach out. Not because they don't want to, but because they feel unworthy of your light. You were gold in their hands. And they treated you like glass, fragile, breakable, disposable. Now they see your true value too late. Type Amen to get blessing 363. They lost you the day they stopped appreciating you. But the pain didn't hit until the silence set in, and now it's deafening. They would give anything to hear you say, "I forgive you." But they know some things are too broken to fix. And your silence is their reminder. They read love stories and realize none of them come close to what you gave them. Yours was raw, real, selfless. And they threw it away. They hope you found someone who holds your hand in public. Who answers your texts right away. Who listens when you speak and never makes you feel small. Type Amen to get blessing 666. They remember the way you used to light up when you talked about your dreams. And they hate themselves for not supporting you the way you deserved. They think of your favorite song and can't hear it anymore without crying. It used to be beautiful. Now it sounds like a funeral. They once took your love for granted, thinking it would always be there. Now, they know love like that only comes once, and they wasted it. They hurt you. And in doing so, they lost everything good about themselves. The guilt will never leave. Type Amen to get blessing 2727. And so, they go on, living a half-life. Smiling for others, crying in private. Haunted by the memory of a love they didn't protect. This is not just regret. This is a lifetime sentence of what-ifs. A punishment of silence. And a heartbreak with no end. They miss you. In ways words cannot describe. But most of all, they miss the version of themselves that you brought to life. Because you weren't just love. You were healing. You were truth. You were the only thing they ever got close to calling home. Type Amen to get blessing 700.